for a sweet and savory flavor profile that pairs particularly with the brand's chicken wings. With the addition of these bold, savory sauces to its expansive lineup of 26 sauces and seasonings, Buffalo Wild Wings aims to offer a one-of-a-kind fusion of sweet and spicy that'll leave you craving more. There you go. Popeyes is currently selling a new bacon and cheese chicken sandwich at select locations across Connecticut and North Carolina. According to several sources, including a Popeyes restaurant manager, the latest iteration of the brand's record-breaking chicken sandwich will be hitting the menus across the country on Monday of next week. However, it's still unclear if all locations of the fried chicken restaurant chain will carry the new sandwich. The new bacon and chicken cheese sandwich features a crispy fried chicken breast filet topped with Havarti cheese, applewood smoked bacon, 2 barrel-cued pickle slices, and a choice of classic or spicy mayonnaise. And the blackened bacon and cheese chicken sandwich features a bread-long, free, antibiotic-free whole chicken breast marinated for 12 hours, perfectly seasoned, with a bold blend of Cajun and Creole spices, served between 2 buttery toasted brioche buns with house classic or spicy mayonnaise. And Papa John's puts a bold, savory spin on a classic fan favorite with the launch of the new buttered chicken pizza. In Canada only, however, made with one of Canada's most loved foods, the new buttered chicken pizza features the chain's never-frozen original dough topped with a velvety, creamy, and sweet buttered chicken sauce, grilled chicken, and a crunchy green pepper and onion topping. Going to cost you about $15 in U.S. dollars, but you can't get it in the U.S., so it doesn't matter. Papa John's new buttered chicken pizza, Popeyes with a new bacon and cheese chicken sandwich, and Buffalo Wild Wings with new General Tso sauce and new sweet chili lime sauce. And that's what's going on in the world of food, where you can just eat it. It's 8:45 in the morning. We see what's gone on this day, June the 2nd, in rock and roll, pop, and R&B music history. It's coming up next. With spring in the air, you're ready to explore the outdoors. Come park it in Kentucky. The Bluegrass State's 45 diverse parks offer everything you want in a spring vacation. Hike a forest trail, paddle clear water, enjoy a horseback ride, or simply sit back, take a deep breath, soak up the sights and sounds of nature. What could be better than that? Kentucky residents can enjoy more for less with discounted rates for the best outdoor adventure, camping, lodging, golf, and more. Go to parks.ky.gov.
This is Hillary from Shake It and Danville. We would love to invite you to try us out today. We have everything from fun boba teas to meal replacement protein shakes, and everything we have is so delicious and even better for your health. Come start your health journey with us at Shake It and Danville. We're located right across the street from the courthouse.
Hello, Central Kentucky. I'm Steve Bertram with sports. Kentucky's one of 8 SEC teams that'll be hosting NCAA baseball regionals today. Cats host Ball State at 1 o'clock this afternoon in the Lexington region. West Virginia plays Indiana at 7 o'clock tonight. UK is seeded 12th overall. The other SEC teams hosting double elimination regionals are Florida, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, LSU, South Carolina, Auburn, and Alabama. Also, Tennessee is playing in the Clemson region, and Texas A&M is in the Stanford region. Danville High School is going to name a new boys basketball coach today at 1 o'clock. Hometown Radio's Joe Mathis will be there and bring us who's going to replace Ed McKinney. The KHSAA state baseball and fast-pitch softball tournaments continued today in Lexington. Fast-pitch softball is being played at John Cross Stadium starting at 11 o'clock. Baseball actions at Counterclocks Field starting at 10 this morning. 12th region winners see their first action today. In baseball, Pulaski County plays Henderson County tonight at 8:30. In softball, East Jessamine faces Perry County Central this morning at 11. Quarterfinals will be played tomorrow. Yesterday's baseball scores: Lexington Catholic 6, Raceland 3, Shelby County 3, McCracken County nothing, Apollo 3, Beechwood nothing, and Eastern 7, Bullitt East 5 in 11 innings. Softball winners were Ballard, Greenwood, Johnson Central, and Rowan County. NBA Championship Series tipped off last night in Denver as the Nuggets down the Heat 104-93. Game 2 is in Denver Sunday night. In baseball, Boston defeated Cincinnati 8-2 to end the Reds' 5-game winning streak. Cincinnati returns home tonight to face Milwaukee this weekend. That's sports. God bless America. I'm Steve Bertram on the Hometown Radio Network.
Yeah, what's up? It's your boy Blind Fury. Catch me Friday night, June 9th at the Nook. I will be sharing the stage with none other than my real good friends, Rehab. It's going to be an all-American Southern hip-hop meets country explosion. Doors open at 6 p.m. with Brad Harden and the Bedford Band. Dunn's Barbecue will also be grilling it up all day.
That's right, you heard it. Blind Fury and Rehab sharing the stage at the Nook Friday, June 9th. This will be a sold-out event, so get your tickets now. VIP packages are available at the Nook.
Danville Physical Therapy is now orthopedic and sports physical therapy. The new owner and director, Samantha Ashford, will help you if you are having problems with your back, your neck, headaches, industrial work injuries, sports injuries. You need rehab, individual rehab, and skilled hands-on care. Then come to orthopedic and sports physical therapy. Suffer from repetitive strain disorder? Need post-operative rehab of the extremities and the spine? Arthritis? Oh, it hurts. Head to orthopedic and sports physical therapy in Danville, 474 Whirlaway Drive.
This Joe Show weather report is brought to you by...
It's brought to you by Coel Collision Center in Danville. They're on Lebanon Road. After a wreck, tell the tow truck driver, take your vehicle to the experts, Brent and Devin, at Coel Collision Center, Lebanon Road in Danville. Sunshine, a high of 88, a low tonight of 60. 90s the high tomorrow, and sunny on Sunday and a high of 87. Right now, it is 8:50 in the morning. It's 65 degrees. Boy, do I have some big news right now to let all of you Brass Band Festival concert and festival goers know about. I am seeing right now that apparently Louisiana Grill, which is the booth that does the bourbon chicken, is not going to be at the Brass Band Festival. They posted that on Facebook. So if you planned on going to get that food, they're not going to be set up this weekend at the Brass Band Festival. So Miles Bell, I know you're a big fan of the bourbon chicken. And Mary, Miles and Mary, they're not going to be set up. That's according to the Facebook post. They posted an hour ago. Sorry, no brass band in Danville, Kentucky is what they say. And people on Danville are commenting on this thing. They're crushed. So we'll see, but that's according to Facebook. All right, it's 8:51 in the morning. 238-WHIR is the phone number to call in this morning. 238-9447. Love to have you on the radio. Good morning. You're on the radio this morning.
Joe, what did you say?
I'm just reading on Facebook. Louisiana Grill. Is that the booth that does the bourbon chicken?
Yes.
It says this is their post from an hour ago. Sorry, no brass band in Danville, Kentucky. So I guess they're saying they're not going to be there. And I've got people that I know from Danville who are commenting on this thing with sad faces. Somebody else says, this is all I've been thinking about all week. Somebody else says, oh my gosh, I'm crushed. There's crying faces on here. So this is what they put on Facebook, that they're not going to be at the Brass Band Festival this week.
Yeah, this weekend.
This weekend,
that's the only way you do it anymore. But but we go up there.
Well, I don't want to dissuade people from not going. This is a radio show. We talk about what's going on here in Danville, and I feel like this is the biggest thing about the Brass Band Festival for a lot of people is that they go and get the bourbon chicken. And it says on Facebook, again, I'm reading it on Facebook right now. It says, sorry, no brass band in Danville, KY. That's what their post says.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you told us because that we were going to go get it tomorrow night.
Yeah, and I just texted my friend who I talked about earlier this week. I said he told me if I went and got it, he would buy it for me because this is life-changing bourbon chicken. I texted him the screenshot, too. He hasn't messaged me back. He may be in the corner crying right now once he reads that. Trying to muster up some words to text me back. He doesn't know what to say. He's speechless right now.
Yeah, we look forward to it every year, and so yeah.
Hey Joe, this is devastating. No, we always go up and enjoy the festival, but then we get that and we bring it home.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the enjoyment.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Well, I'm glad you told us before I went up there and,
Well, again, like I don't want to be wrong, but I'm not seeing how I could be wrong when they're the ones that posted on Facebook, you know? So,
I'd say you're not wrong.
Yeah, so, well, I appreciate it. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but that's what I'm seeing here on social media. But, hey, I got to get off the phone because I think Michael Paris from the Brass Band Festival is calling in this morning. We're going to have her on the air, okay?
Well, it's Friday.
There you go. It's Friday. We love it, Miles. Appreciate you calling in, buddy. You have a great weekend, okay?
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, there it is. Miles Bell. He's calling in, letting us know. All right, here's a phone call. This isn't my line, though. I don't know if I should answer that one. I'll go ahead and answer it anyway. Never mind. Didn't get there quick enough. All right, 238-WHIR is the phone number to call in this morning, 238-9447. We'd love to have you on the radio. The talk of the town here. No bourbon chicken at the Brass Band Festival. 1 o'clock this afternoon, Danville High School is going to be naming a new head basketball coach. I'm going to be there at 1 o'clock. We won't have the announcement live on the air, but you can follow me on social media on Twitter, at HTRJoe on Twitter. And we'd love to have you part of the show. Follow me on Twitter. I'm thinking of the show here, waiting for Michael Paris to call in. Follow me on Twitter, and we'll announce who it is on Twitter this morning. 238-WHIR, 238-9447. I'll go ahead and see what's gone on this date in rock and roll, pop, and R&B music history as we wait and see if Michael Paris calls in. Starting off on this date back in 1941. 1941, where Charlie Watts was born. On this date in 1941, Charlie Watts, do you know the name Charlie Watts? He was the drummer for this band. I can't get no bourbon chicken. Charlie Watts is the drummer for the Rolling Stones. 1963, he joined the Rolling Stones. At the 1965 number one hit, this one, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. Over 35 top 40 singles and albums. Watts also played occasional gigs with Charlie Watts and his big band. In 2006, Watts was elected into the Modern Drummer Hall of Fame. He died at a London hospital in August of 2021 at the age of 80. Charlie Watts, born on this date, 1941. It was on this day, 1962, this artist started a 5-week run at number one on the U.S. singles charts with this song.
So I'll just live my life.
Song originally done by Don Gibson, a country ballad that Ray Charles took over and took to number one on the U.S. charts. A song called I Can't Stop Loving You also went number one in the U.K. On this date, 1962, Ray Charles at number one. It's a 5-weeker at number one for him. I Can't Stop Loving You.
Long ago, it still made me blue. They say that time.
And it was on this date in 1979. This artist started a 3-week run at number one on the U.S. singles charts with this song. Donna Summer and Hot Stuff. It was her second U.S. number one hit, made it to number 11 on the charts in the U.K. Donna Summer on this date, 1979, with Hot Stuff. It was a 3-weeker at number one. Started on this date, 1979. 44 years ago. Donna Summer, Ray Charles, and Charlie Watts have all made their mark on this date, June 2nd. In rock and roll, pop, and R&B music history.
If you're 19 or older with certain underlying medical conditions such as asthma or diabetes, you can get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. If you're 65 or older, it is also recommended you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. No matter the season, talk to your doctor about vaccination today and learn more at lung.org/protect yourself. A message from the American Lung Association in collaboration with Pfizer.
Furnished by the American Lung Association.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
The Hometown Radio Network sports broadcast schedule brought to you by Monticello Bank. The Xfinity Series, it is Saturday. 4:30 green flag drop at Portland International Raceway for the Pacific Office Automation 147. Then the big boys, NASCAR Sunday at Gateway Motorsports Park. It's the Enjoy Illinois 300. Green flag drops at 3:30. We'll have both those races on 103.9 FM WHIR Danville, your home for NASCAR racing on the Hometown Radio Network.
Going out of town or anywhere? This is the talk of the town, AM 1230, and now on FM 103.9, WHIR Danville, powered by Kentucky WiMAX.
It's 9 o'clock.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. President Biden will speak to the nation this evening about the debt ceiling bill Congress passed this week. The Senate approved the measure Thursday after the House passed it Wednesday evening, averting the possibility of a catastrophic government default. The vote was 63-36, with the bill now heading to President Biden's desk. The president said he would sign the bill into law as soon as possible. National Economic Council Deputy Director Bharat Ramamurthy says the Biden administration secured a win for the economy and the American people.
It builds on another step that the president secured last year when he passed the Inflation Reduction Act.
The president's address to the nation will be at 7 p.m. Eastern. Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders is the latest Republican state leader to announce she's sending National Guard troops to the Texas border with Mexico. The governor's office said on Thursday the 80 guardsmen will assist with surveillance and reconnaissance efforts, along with increased detection and tracking. A Manhattan grand jury reportedly has the case of a Marine veteran accused of manslaughter for choking a man to death on a New York City subway train. Scott Pringle reports.
Sources tell ABC News that a grand jury is starting to hear evidence in the case. Manhattan prosecutors are trying to secure an indictment on a second-degree manslaughter charge against Daniel Penny. He's accused of using the deadly chokehold on Jordan Neely back on May 1st. Penny may actually testify in the case. Now, he and some witnesses argue that Neely, who had mental health challenges, was acting unruly and threatening subway riders before Penny applied the chokehold, while others say Neely was not a threat.
Alaska state lawmakers are responding to a report that there are Chinese spies in Alaska posing as tourists and trying to access military sites. More from Mark Mayfield.
According to USA Today, some Chinese citizens posed as tourists and attempted to make entry at Fort Wainwright in Fairbanks. According to the article, the vehicle they were traveling in sped through a security checkpoint at the installation. When the vehicle was stopped, a drone was located inside the vehicle, and the occupants claimed that they were lost tourists.
Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
The Kentucky Department for Community-Based Services is hiring. DCBS invites you to be part of an inclusive team of caring professionals that helps all Kentucky families through a rewarding career in family support or social services. They have job openings in their county offices across the state and offer great benefits like hybrid work schedule, competitive salary, paid holidays, and many opportunities for training and promotions, plus state employee discounts. Go online to chfs.ky.gov and enter DCBS jobs in the search field. It's a new day at DCBS. Join them, an equal opportunity employer MFD.
This is Kentucky, where the only thing ordinary is the unexpected.
I got everything you need.
Horse country, legendary distilleries, rivers to paddle, lakes to splash and relax, big city vibes and small town charms. This is Kentucky. Come see for yourself. Plan your road trip at KentuckyTourism.com.
I got everything you need.
Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt will send National Guard troops to the southern border. Beth Myers reports.
The move is in response to Texas Governor Greg Abbott's call for reinforcements. Stitt says it's not a decision he takes lightly. He says he believes it's in the best interest of Oklahoma and the nation to take decisive action to address what he calls the federal government's utter failure to secure the southern border. In all, Stitt and 12 other Republican governors have committed to sending 1,300 National Guard members and 230 law enforcement personnel to the southern border.
Tropical depression number 2 is the little storm that won't. Likely.
Most times when systems get in the Gulf of Mexico, they typically impact land, but this is going to be sort of the anomaly. We're expected to move south and weaken due to very strong wind shear and very dry air that's working its way in.
John Cagliosi, senior meteorologist at the National Hurricane Center in Miami, says it's not impossible for it to gain a tiny bit of oomph to potentially a weak tropical storm, although not likely. A reconnaissance plane will be taking a closer look later this morning. Journalists for Gannett are walking off the job next week in a strike. Sarah Bartlett with the story.
The company's workers' union is calling on the media giant, which owns USA Today and hundreds of local and metro daily newspapers, to issue a vote of no confidence in its CEO. They're accusing Mike Reed of gross mismanagement ahead of the company's annual shareholders meeting on June 5th. The president of News Guild CWA says Gannett is radioactive to investors due to Reed and said he doesn't see the long-term value of investing in his journalists.
Taylor Swift is the second richest woman in music. Forbes recently catapulted Swift to the number 2 spot on their richest women in music list, second only to Rihanna. They estimate Swift's net worth to be around $740 million. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Waking up on the right side. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
If your taxpayers are tired of paying Joe Biden's illegal immigration bill, you can start shipping all of your illegal immigrants now, not only to New York and to D.C. and to California. Now send them to Minnesota, because Democrats in Minnesota apparently love paying for illegal immigrants. How do I know that? Under Minnesota's free tuition program, dubbed North Star Promise, illegal immigrants will have their full tuition paid if they enroll in a 2 or 4 year program with the University of Minnesota or Minnesota State Systems and come from a household with an income of $80,000 or less. Send them to Minnesota. Free college. You're doing the right thing. Governor Abbott, are you listening?
From coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
So, what are you thinking for lunch?
I can't. I'm getting new window treatments.
Why don't you just go to Blinds.com?
Because I need custom products.
Blinds.com products are made to order, and they ship samples to you fast and free.
Wow, how convenient. Tell me more.
They can even verify your measurements and handle the installation. Plus, their 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Well, you've convinced me. Let's go eat. I've got time now.
Shop Blinds.com and save 45% on selected products. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates. It's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Boyle County's our home, so let's keep it clean.
Be a better recycler. Learn what you can take to the Boyle County Convenience Centers and Recycling Center. Download the new free app, Boyle County Recycling, for Apple and Android phones. The app features the Waste Wizard, where you can search any item and what to do with it. Also, play the sorting game. Download the app and be a better recycler for Boyle County.
Boyle County's our home, so let's keep it clean.
Hi, this is Jenny at the Danville Nutrition Center. Get ready for the great outdoors with our Rootology sinus and allergy support products. Or try our DEET-free, all-natural bug repellents that are safe for the whole family. We even have a natural bug repellent for dogs, which is specially formulated to repel mosquitoes, flies, fleas, and ticks. Enjoy the great outdoors naturally by visiting your locally owned Danville Nutrition Center, located on 4th Street next to Sears.
Good morning to you. It's Friday. It's the second day of June. That is 060223 on your calendar, and 9:08 in the morning. We've got news coming up. We've got a forecast coming up, and we talk about First Baptist Church of Danville and their 200th anniversary, which is this weekend. It's all coming up after this. This is a Hometown Radio Network information update. A Danville church will celebrate its 200th anniversary on Sunday. First Baptist Church in the Bypass in Danville was founded on June 7th of 1823 with a congregation of 8 people. You may remember the First Baptist Church building on Broadway. That's where the first brick building of the church was built 17 years later in 1840. That building burnt, then was later rebuilt and was at that location until 2007 when the church moved onto the Bypass and the library bought the property there on Broadway for their expansion. Now, 200 years later, the church will celebrate its bicentennial anniversary with a service beginning with a meet and greet at 9:30, the regular service at 10:45 with Alabama Baptist Convention and former church member Daniel Wilson as the special guest, as well as a lunch provided afterward. Danville Schools has announced their Staff of the Year award winners from each school and at the district level, where awards were given for Rookie of the Year and Classified and Certified Staff of the Year. At Hogshead, the Rookie of the Year winner was Special Education Teacher Pamela Tucker. Classified Staff of the Year was Instructional Assistant Tanya Hinkle, and Certified Staff of the Year was Spanish Teacher Kathy Alt. At Tolliver, Rookie of the Year was PE Teacher K.T. Kennedy. Classified of the Year was Bookkeeper Pam Stinnett, and Certified was 5th grade teacher Emily Reese. At Bate, 2 Rookie Staff Members of the Year, Counselor Sidney Reynolds and Principal Michelle Carver. Instructional Assistant Ryan Jackson was the Classified Staff Member of the Year, while Special Education Teacher Tim Breitenbach was the Certified Staff of the Year. Meanwhile, at Danville High School, Rookie of the Year was Tevin Washington, Classified of the Year was Brian Huffman, and Certified Staff Member was Math Teacher Rob Kramer. And at the district level, Wellness Counselor Sammy Anders was Rookie of the Year, Arts Director Jane Dewey, the Classified Staff of the Year, and Chief of Staff Brian Gover, the Certified Staff of the Year. Mercer County's new fireworks ordinance goes into effect immediately, just a month before the biggest firework lighting holiday of the year. We've been following this story for the last few months that many concerned Mercer County residents had approached the fiscal court and asked them to enact a fireworks ordinance due to the fact that many fireworks were shot off late into the night and was scaring their livestock. Mercer County had a noise ordinance, but it was vague and never covered fireworks because it was drafted before fireworks were legal. Mercer County's fiscal court gave a second reading of this new fireworks ordinance at their most recent meeting where it passed. The new ordinance bans any fireworks from midnight to 9 in the morning, with any violator facing a $100 fine. Fireworks retailers must also post a notice where it can be seen. It goes into effect immediately. Reporting for the Hometown Radio Network, I'm Joe Mathis.
This Joe Show weather report is brought to you by...
It's brought to you by Cattleman's Roadhouse. Treat yourself to a delicious meal at Cattleman's, where everyone in the family has certified something to tastify their taste buds. Cattleman's Roadhouse on the Danville Bypass. A great steak truly is just the beginning. You get sunshine, a high today of 88, a low tonight 60. Mostly sunny tomorrow, a high of 90. And on Sunday, mostly sunny, a high of 87 for the 200th anniversary celebration of First Baptist Church here in Danville, and that's the topic of conversation here for the next couple of minutes with the pastor of First Baptist Church here in Danville, and also my dad. That's Tim Mathis. Good morning, Dad. How are you?
Doing good. Joe, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Appreciate you being on here. This is a big weekend for, obviously, for our church, but for First Baptist in Danville, 200th anniversary, and, a church that, growing up here, I remember being on Broadway, has now moved to the Bypass, and I thought it would be interesting to bring you on to talk a little bit about the history of a church that's been around now for 200 years, and just the background of it and how it's moved to and from different locations to the Broadway location to the Bypass. And so that's kind of where we'll start, back 200 years ago in the year 1823. Long time ago. How did this church start? What's the background of it?
Well, first of all, we want to give glory to God that He's allowed us to still serve Him for 200 years. And I was reminded of this miracle from David Hughes, Dr. David Hughes, who grew up in our church and it was in the ministry for many years. And David reminded me that churches are closing frequently now. You hear of them closing every week. And to be here 200 years through all the things that have happened, both nationally, internationally, in this area, is truly a sign of God's grace and mercy to us. Mm-hmm. First Baptist Church began with 9 Danville residents in 1823.
Wow.
They proclaimed themselves a church on June 7th, first Sunday in June. They already had their doctrines and all laid out, very conservative, traditional Baptist doctrines. And you cannot speak of 1823, you cannot speak of, the first almost 2/3 of the 19th century and before that time without the issue of slavery. Mm-hmm. The pastor of the church was Elder Thomas Hand. Among those 9 persons, one was a slave, a woman. And so we have this kinship with our African believers in Christ. It's been there from the very beginning. And they began meeting in people's homes. They just met in various persons' homes. And then they purchased some land, all of the land between 3rd and 4th Street, Lexington Avenue, and Broadway.
Okay.
That was called an acre of land. They purchased that. And on that acre of land, sort of sitting where the library sits now, or next to it there, was an old log cabin.
Okay.
And so the people began to meet in that log cabin.
So the building was already there when they bought it?
Well, yes, it was an old kind of log structure.
Okay.
And so they began meeting in that in 1825, 1826. And then they decided to build a building. And so they built a brick structure, and it about 1839, may have been 1840 before it was officially finished. And they lived in that brick structure. Now, that brick structure was very interesting. It had 2 doors in which people could enter, but men entered one door, women entered the other door. And when you walked into the building, there was a high partition between where the 2 doors would allow you in, so that women would be with women, men would be worshiping where men were. And in the back of the church was a special balcony for slaves. And the pulpit sat above the 2 front doors. It was very high, up off the floor, like a lot of older church structures built their pulpits. And so it was there that they worshiped God. The interesting thing is, from the beginning, the church struggled. It was a poor church, and it really struggled. They did not have the money to buy windows because glass was expensive. And so they nailed shutters over the window openings, and which means they had to open the doors of the church and light candles in order to be able to see inside.
Too dark in there, huh?
Yeah, it was a little too dark. And so they stayed there. While they were there, in 1846, the request came from the slaves that they wanted their own church. And so the African Baptist Church was formed out of First Baptist, and they met in a building, I believe, on Russell Street. That's where they began, and in a house. And that house is believed now to have been part of the Underground Railroad.
Wow.
And so there's a lot of history here. And even in the midst of that horrible thing known as slavery, God was at work. He works with what we give him, and he's God. And that great First Baptist Church on Walnut Street was started, and many great people have come through that church.
Yeah.
And that's one of the most dynamic churches in this town, and we praise them for that.
Yeah.
Appreciate them.
You mentioned no windows in the original church. Now, obviously, the church on Broadway that I grew up with, they had the big stained glass windows.
Yes.
When were those put in? When were the stained glass windows put in? Do you know any information or history on that? Now, those have been moved to the church on Broadway now, so the original stained glass windows that were in the Broadway church are now in the bypass church building. But what about the stained glass windows? Because that, to me, that's the feature of First Baptist Church. When you think of the inside sanctuary, you think of the stained glass windows that were there.
Okay, the building that they met in at this time burned. And there was a stable next door to it, and a lantern got tipped over in the stable. It caught fire and the church burned. And I believe that was August the 6th. And 3 days later, a committee was formed. You know how Baptists are. They love committees.
Love committees, yeah.
A committee was formed to begin building another church. And within a year, they had another building built. And it was during this time that Lottie Moon was a part of First Baptist Church. And she is now the patron saint, if we can use that terminology, of Southern Baptist International Missions.
Yeah.
She was a member of First Baptist Church. She taught Sunday school. She was assistant to the pastor, working with children and women in the congregation. She taught several courses at the Baptist Female Institute that First Baptist Church formed. I think it started in 1861. And by the ravages of the Civil War, it had to close down in 1869. It became combined with the Caldwell Female Institute. The building in which they met in sits where Danville High School sits now. But the windows you're talking about, in the late 1880s, it was voted that the church build a new structure because the one they were in was so overcrowded.
Okay.
And so they built the one that most everybody that remembers Old First Baptist Church, that sanctuary, was built in 1901 and was dedicated in February the 6th, 1902. And there was a woman in the congregation who had a picture in her Bible of Christ holding a lamb. And she said that would be a beautiful stained glass window in our church. And, of course, they also added the Annunciation, the angels appearing to the shepherds at the birth of Jesus. That was added. And so all of those were placed in there in 1901. They moved in October of 01, but the formal dedication was in February of 02.
So those stained glass windows are 122 years old?
Yes.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yes.
I didn't realize they were that old.
Yes. And when we had them moved to the bypass location, there was a company who does that.
There's a company that specializes in everything, right? Even removing stained glass from windows.
Yes, Emmanuel Stained Glass in Nashville. They took them down piece by piece. They put together by pieces and took them to Nashville. And it was discovered they had coal dust on them because the church used to burn coal.
Oh, wow.
And that little coal dust was beginning to damage the windows. And they said 2 many more years, they would have been beyond repair. And we didn't even know the dust was on them.
Didn't even know it was there.
You couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And so they were clean with saddle soap. That's what they cleaned the windows with. Placed them together, brought them back, laid them out, and installed them.
Wow.
And that was $100,000 just to get the stained glass windows. Just to get the stained glass windows.
I can imagine. Well, they're big. How big are they? Do you know what the size is?
I don't know. They were valued way back in the 80s, 90s, being worth over $1 million.
Yeah.
So,
well, in 2007 was when the church moved, I guess officially, from Broadway to the bypass.
Yes.
And very quickly, because I want to make sure we touch on what's going to be going on Sunday. So very quickly, what was that like, moving an entire church from downtown where it had been since 1901 and 106 years later moving it to a new location? Almost, feel like it throws the entire downtown off. The church that was there is no longer there anymore.
Yes. Of course, the site in which they were on, they had been on since 1825.
So longer than that. Yeah, longer than 1901. I mean, we're talking again, 200 years now is what the anniversary is this week, and they've been on that site since 1825. But the building that we knew as it existed on Broadway was 1900, 1901 or so.
Yeah, 1901. And one of our deacons, Jim Wilson, shared with the deacon body in the 1970s that they needed to think about relocating the church, getting more land, moving on the edge of town, and one of the other deacons in the congregation told him, says, "There's no young whippersnapper going to come in here and move my church." But anyway, that's just some of the inner goings of church life sometimes. But Jim actually started that 40 years
before
we moved. It was an overcrowding problem. when the church burned, to build the temporary building they were in for a while, they sold a lot of the property around the church's lot. That's where a lot of those homes are on 3rd and 4th Street and Lexington Avenue in that block. Some of them are bed and breakfast places. And that was sold to the architects who built the building that had the 2 front doors and all that on it. But in exchange for building the building. But we formed a committee. We did a long-range planning committee, and half of the persons on that committee are with the Lord now. They've since passed away, and we needed to move. We recognized that. We presented it to the church, gave the church plenty of time to think about it, and they did, and they voted in 2000 to relocate. And then we began searching for land. And in the search of the land, we bought the 16.2 acres from the Lee family, where we're located now, and we paid it off first before we moved the church.
Yeah.
And so we paid that off, and then we relocated, and an architect was found, and many people were involved with this. There were those who were involved in designing the building, what we needed to come up with the space, and the financing team. We had a relocation team. We called it the bullet point team. We would meet weekly most of the time and make notes and records and keep them and distribute them to the church members. And but it took 7 years for us to move, and that's the average.
Yeah,
that's about the average for a church.
It takes time. Yeah, you're picking up and moving an entire church and trying to figure out what needs to be left and what needs to stay and what needs to go. And well, for Sunday is the 200th anniversary. We have about 5 minutes to talk about this. So tell us what's going on Sunday at First Baptist Church in Danville. Again, we're with the pastor, Tim Mathis. He's also my dad. But tell us what's going on Sunday, the special events and happenings Sunday at First Baptist here in Danville, 200th anniversary.
This is a very special day. And in researching this and getting ready for this, I realize what First Baptist is, how it's affected the kingdom of God. We've started 7 different mission churches out of our congregation. Many people have come through our congregation, have gone into the ministry, and that is always that's your most positive sign of your church having an effect in the kingdom of God. It isn't necessarily your numbers locally, and those are very important. I'm not taking away from those, but what you're doing beyond and how the ministry of your church is affecting others. Now, Sunday morning at 9:30, rather than having Sunday school, and some classes will meet for devotions and things like that and join us, but we're having a donut and coffee meet and greet.
Okay.
We're expecting people to come in who from out of town and just give a time for fellowship and rejoicing together. And the service is at 10:45. Danville native, local Daniel Wilson, Dr. Daniel Wilson, is going to preach the sermon. He's with the Alabama State Board of Missions. He's in the evangelism part of that. And we're going to have wonderful music, and we've invited preachers in. Some are, of course, quite a few of them will not be able to meet with us because of their own church obligations, but they're going to send video greetings. But we're going to have this wonderful worship service, and then in the great Baptist tradition, we're going to have fried chicken.
You got to have a potluck, right?
Yeah, man, potluck, and everybody's told to bring enough food for 12. And so we're going to be doing that in the fellowship hall. We're also going to set up a tent outside. We're expecting to feed upwards of 200, 250 people.
Yeah.
And or more for that. And we're going to have inflatables, parents of young children. We're going to have several inflatables there, and games. And during the worship service, I need to say this, during the worship service also, we're going to have dramatic monologue. A special guest is coming in to share a dramatic monologue with us, and we're going to have a note shredding. These used to be called note burning, but nobody wants to, burn anything. So we're going to have a shredder up there.
It's the special
and
shredder.
We're going to shred that mortgage.
Okay.
Yeah, the church has no debts.
Yeah.
And so now we paid off our mortgage, and God's been gracious to us. And this was about a $4 million project when you include the land. I saw the official figure again yesterday, and it slipped my mind, but it was over $4. It was I think it was about $4.25 million, and that's all paid for now.
Wow.
And but our goal is always to be Christ-centered, and over 200 years now, the message of the gospel has not changed.
Yep.
It hasn't changed for 2,000 years, and we proclaim that message. And that's what makes a church a church.
Yeah.
People proclaiming the gospel of Christ, observing the Lord's Supper together, and doing God's work.
Sunday, 9:30 for the donuts and meet and greet and get together. 10:45 for the worship service. If you have ever gone to First Baptist, if you've ever visited First Baptist any point in the past, or if you want to visit First Baptist for the first time ever on Sunday, then you are certainly most welcome as well on Sunday for the 200th anniversary of First Baptist Church in Danville. And I think you told me before we went on the air, the third oldest church in Danville, correct?
Third oldest church in Danville. It was on its property longer than any other church was on theirs. The oldest continuous on its property, but we have since sold that to the library, and they're really prospering.
Oh, yes, the library's done a great job with that area as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, appreciate that again. Sunday morning, 200th anniversary celebration for First Baptist Church in Danville started on Broadway, obviously on the bypass right now, and they'd love to have you visit their church 200th anniversary on Sunday. Appreciate you being on.
God bless you, Joe.
Yes,
we
sir.
love you and appreciate you.
Love you too. Appreciate it.
Take
Coming
care.
up in the next 5 minutes, it's a McClure and Bailey Friday. We'll have Patrick or Brian join us this morning. I believe it's going to be Patrick. May call in for the first half of the segment, but he should be in studio by the time this segment ends at 10 o'clock in the morning. Kentucky Sports Radio comes on at 10 from 10 to noon. At noon, it's Advocates for America. And at 3 o'clock, it's Sean Hannity right here on your Talk of the Town, News Talk Sports, WHIR Danville.
This is the Kentucky News Network. The Kentucky Attorney General's Office is taking over a high-profile case in Scott County. That case involves the late Sheriff's Deputy Caleb Conley, who was shot and killed last week during a traffic stop on Interstate 75. Stephen Shinshang has been charged with murder, to which he has pleaded not guilty. Attorney General Daniel Cameron's office yesterday sent a letter announcing they will be taking over Shinshang's prosecution. A former Warren County Regional Jail employee is being accused of having sexual contact with an inmate. Officials believe 28-year-old Aaron Bomarito of Franklin committed the crimes back in 2021. An investigation has led to his charges of sodomy and official misconduct. He was arrested last week, and the investigation is ongoing. Bowling Green police are asking for the public's help in finding a missing teenager. Officials say 16-year-old Autumn Griffin was last seen on Tuesday. The city's police department has posted a picture of her online, and they're asking for anyone who sees her to please call them as soon as possible. It's going to be a busy weekend in Lexington. The city is preparing for the 2023 Railbird Festival, which is being held at Red Mile. Officials believe over 40,000 people will be at Railbird tomorrow and on Sunday, and they're urging those going to stay safe and have a parking plan. There will be a host of musical acts performing, including Zach Bryan, Weezer, and Tyler Childers. And it's time for some tournament baseball in the Bluegrass. The University of Kentucky baseball team is hosting a regional for the 2023 NCAA tournament in Lexington over the next few days and has its first game today against Ball State. It's the first appearance in the tournament since 2017 for UK, and just the third time in the program's history the Bat Cats are hosting a regional. I'm John Shannon. This is the Kentucky News Network.
Hello, this is Rosie the Skunk for Atmos Energy. You might think I make a bad smell. I mean, of course you do. Why wouldn't you? After all, I'm a skunk. But my stinky fragrance is nothing compared to the rotten egg smell of a gas leak, because that could be dangerous. So if you think you smell a leak or encounter other signs such as hearing a hissing or blowing sound or seeing a vapor cloud, blowing dirt or bubbling water, do not smoke, talk on the phone, turn on or off equipment or vehicles, or do do anything that could cause a spark. Leave the area immediately. Then call 911 and Atmos Energy. Atmos Energy will send a trained technician to investigate the situation. Take it from a skunk. Gas leaks just plain stink. Seriously, there's no gray area here. When dealing with gas leaks, it's black and white. Yep, that's a little skunk humor there. For more information, visit atmosenergy.com/gas safety.
This is Caraway at Mattresses and More on Houstonville Road in Danville. If you are looking for new furniture or bedding, stop by and check us out. New items arriving weekly, and we sell off the floor. Buy it today and take it home today. We offer layaway and 12 months same-as cash with approved credit.
Thank you, Caraway. Again, buy it today, take it home today. Living room suits, bedroom suits, dinette sets, recliners, and more. From Mattresses and More, Southland Plaza next to Ace Hardware.
Hi, this is Jenny at the Danville Nutrition Center. Get ready for the great outdoors with our Rootology sinus and allergy support products. Or try our DEET-free, all-natural bug repellents that are safe for the whole family. We even have a natural bug repellent for dogs, which is specially formulated to repel mosquitoes, flies, fleas, and ticks. Enjoy the great outdoors naturally by visiting your locally owned Danville Nutrition Center, located on 4th Street next to Sears.
Hey, let's go to Wendy's, get ourselves a breakfast this morning, and the $3 breakfast deal is back. Now, this is for a limited time only, LTO, as they say, and it's a great deal for just $3. All you need is $3. You can get a bacon, egg, or sausage egg croissant, plus a side of those awesome breakfast potatoes that they have. You get either bacon, egg, and Swiss or sausage, egg, and Swiss. Now, both breakfast sandwiches feature a fresh cracked egg, crispy bacon, or savory sausage, along with small seasoned potatoes. It's that kind of breakfast that you keep on thinking about, right? You can't get it out of your head. Like, it really gets stuck in your head because it's that delicious. Made with a melt in your mouth. This thing is awesome. Flaky, buttery croissant topped with oven-baked bacon or savory sausage and a fresh cracked egg. It's the $3 breakfast deal. It's back at Wendy's right here in Danville.
If you're 19 or older with certain underlying medical conditions such as asthma or diabetes, you can get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. If you're 65 or older, it is also recommended you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. No matter the season, talk to your doctor about vaccination today and learn more at lung.org/protect yourself. A message from the American Lung Association in collaboration with Pfizer.
Furnished by the American Lung Association.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Farmers National Bank invites you to flash your school spirit by offering you debit cards created especially for your school, including Boyle County High School, Bergen Independent School, Center College, Danville High School, Danville Christian Academy, Garrett County High School, Kentucky School for the Deaf, Lincoln County High School, and Mercer County High School. Flash your school spirit with Farmers National Bank, your lifetime bank. Certain restrictions may apply. See your Farmers National Bank representative for complete details. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
With spring in the air, you're ready to explore the outdoors. Come park it in Kentucky. The Bluegrass State's 45 diverse parks offer everything you want in a spring vacation. Hike a forest trail, paddle clear water, enjoy a horseback ride, or simply sit back, take a deep breath, soak up the sights and sounds of nature. What could be better than that? Kentucky residents can enjoy more for less with discounted rates. For the best outdoor adventure, camping, lodging, golf, and more, go to parks.ky.gov.
Hey, it's me again. That's right, I'm Jerry Farmer, and I'm still cutting up. Still Cutting Up is a place to go when you need a fresh cut or a mini afro. Perms, colors, nails, too. Braids, highlights, and even updo. I know you done heard of us, so get with it. I know you need your hair did. Here's our digit, 238-7899. Bob your head while I rhyme. 24/7, we won't be beat. 365 on South 4th Street. See ya.
At Linex of Danville, we offer an undercoating that protects your vehicle against road salt and gravel, which helps prevent rust, prolong the life of your vehicle. Along with the rust inhibitor, gives your vehicle total rust protection. Call for a free quote at 859-209-4033 or stop in and see us at 935 Stanford Road in Danville.
This Joe Show weather report is brought to you by...
It's brought to you by our friends over at the HVAC outlet right here in Danville, offering the best ductless mini splits. You can install yourself, or they can help you with installation. They are one of the largest distributors in the state of Kentucky. They also have heat pumps with 10-year parts warranties and financing available. Call before you buy anywhere else for the outlet price. From the HVAC outlet in Danville, 859-209-1112. Sunshine, a high of 88, a low of 60. Sunshine tomorrow, 90 is the high on Brass Band Festival Saturday, and Sunday mostly sunny and a high of 87. Right now it's 9:38 in the morning. It's 70 degrees right here in Danville. And let's give a shout out, just news just breaking. Evan Hart, the Mercer County high school baseball player who is committed to the University of Kentucky. He won the 12th Region Player of the Year award, I believe, this year, but he also was just named the Kentucky Gatorade Player of the Year for the entire state. And Evan is the first area player to win that award and had a phenomenal year. And as a broadcaster, someone who calls the high school baseball games, there is none better than Evan Hart. He does not mess around. When he's on the mound, he takes the ball and he's ready to zip a fastball right back by you as soon as that return throw comes back from the catcher. And congratulations to Evan winning the Kentucky Gatorade Player of the Year Award. That was just announced earlier this morning. 238-WHIR is the phone number to call in this morning. 238-9447. We'd love to have you on the radio this morning. And we are waiting for Patrick McClure to join us from McClure and Bailey. And as we wait, a supermarket in Las Vegas is going viral for having a tattooed chicken in their supermarket. Check out this ad from KFC. They're jumping on this train, the new tattooed chicken bucket.
The Colonel's back with my new tattooed chicken bucket.
Your what?
You got cotton balls in your ears or something? The chicken is tattooed. Yep, big, meaty pieces of fried chicken, each with a unique tattoo.
This chicken breast has a tattoo that says Sempre Fried.
Yep, that chicken must have been a Marine.
And this drumstick has a Denver Nuggets tattoo.
You got that right. I bet that chicken sure was looking forward to the NBA Finals. Yep, you won't believe your taste buds when
How did you tattoo each of these pieces of chicken? Did you do it while they were alive or after you...
You are asking far too many questions about something I've already explained to you. The chickens have been tattooed. Just shut up and eat the tatted up chicken.
Yes, sir.
The new tattooed chicken bucket. Try it today.
There you go. Hey, the NBA Finals, speaking of the Nuggets, they kicked off last night, and there are 4 reasons to watch. 1, if you're a Miami Heat fan. 2, if you are a Denver Nuggets fan. 3, if you're a basketball fan. And 4, if you are a burrito fan. Because Chipotle has announced a new promotion where they are giving away free burritos every time a player on either team hits a three-point shot. They're giving up to 300 free burritos for each three-pointer, up to 35 buckets per game. It's a total of 10,500 free burritos each game, which could be more than the 73,000 if 35 threes are hitting every game, and the series goes to 7 games, which seems unlikely, but that's how the math plays out. You're only allowed to get 1 free burrito per game. You won't have until the end of the month to redeem your freebie, and you'll have to order ahead through the app or website. They will not accept codes in person at the register. By the way, for what it's worth, last night, Nuggets won Game 1. The two teams combined to make 21 threes. 14 short on the max. This person says they tried to get in on the action, but their trigger finger wasn't quick enough to get the free burrito. So Chipotle giving out free burritos every time a player hits a three-pointer in the NBA Finals. It's 9:41 in the morning, and Patrick McClure from McClure and Bailey joins us. Good morning, Patrick. How are you?
Hi, Joe. I'm on my way there, but I didn't want you to have to solo this.
Well, appreciate that. Hey, it's a big week for you all. I mean, we got the Brass Band Festival coming up today, tomorrow, and Sunday, and we know McClure and Bailey, big fans, big sponsors, and supporters of the Brass Band Festival.
Yeah, and actually I was running behind. Jenny is up there setting up for Bayou and Brass right now, and I was taking her two best muscle up there to start moving things around. That would be Paul McClure and George McClure.
Yeah. How many kids, I don't want to say kids, makes it sound like child labor, how many high schoolers work the Brass Band Festival? This has been a staple of it every single year. I remember when I was in high school, my friends worked the Brass Band Festival. There was a lot of behind the scenes from high school kids that are working, moving stuff to make this festival go.
Sure. I don't know what the number is this year, but usually I think it's probably at least 25 or 30.
Yeah.
From moving stage stuff to picking up trash to moving, the equipment. They're just kind of there to do everything, and we always love having them. Some groups do it as a fundraiser. Some kids get paid. Some it's a little bit of both, and then some are just volunteers. Which of course we love that.
Yeah, awesome stuff. So tonight, you got Bayou and Brass. Tomorrow, you got the festival starting at really 8 o'clock in the morning, the Great American Pancake Breakfast. You have the parade downtown, the music, and all the food trucks and vendors around 12 noon tomorrow. That'll go all day long tomorrow. I've listened and actually played a couple of clips, Patrick, from the headlining band, the Soul Rebels. Those guys can jam. Have you listened to them?
We are hosting them this year, and we have hosted them in the past. They are in a class by itself. I tell you what, I'm walking in, so you're probably getting reverb. I'll be right in there.
All right. All right, Patch. He's walking through the front door right now. Hold on, let me see. I don't see him yet. Maybe he's there he is. All right, here he comes. Yeah, so the Soul Rebels, I was actually going to see if I could pull up one of their songs again. I played them a couple of times, but they're a heck of a group, and they can jam. That's going to make for a fun Saturday evening tomorrow night with the Soul Rebels.
Yeah, so as I was saying, we've hosted them in the past. They were here once before, and they're about as good as anybody we've ever had for my taste.
Yeah.
In the past, we've had the Canadian Brass. We've had the President's Own Marine Band. Those things are a little bit different. The Soul Rebels are a modern New Orleans band. They call it trad versus contemporary, trad being for traditional. They are actually a great kind of hybrid of the two. They play a lot of trad stuff with a little bit funkier beat. They have their own stuff. Shortly after they were here the last time, which I think was like 2012, they wound up on I think it was a movie soundtrack or something, and they were nominated for a Grammy.
Oh, wow.
Been nominated for a few Grammys since then. I think they've won at least one. They are absolutely incredible, and I think it doesn't really matter if it's your style of music. I think it's hard not to like them. They are just a lot of fun. They have a lot of fun doing it.
I feel like Saturday night should be fun, right? That's like the fun time. I mean, that's when you get up and jam. Tonight, yeah,
Bayou Brass, and they're playing both. And I don't know this for sure, so I apologize for wrong, but I'm sure they're playing the parade tomorrow too, along with New Breed. Which is another New Orleans style band. They're not from there, but it's in that style. Of course, we have the Circle City Sidewalk Stompers. It's always fun. It's a great event. But yeah, I got to tell you, I'm as stoked as I can be for the Soul Rebels to be coming back. They just absolutely blow it out of the park, and I hope everybody gets out and has a good time there. Unfortunately, I won't be there Saturday night.
Oh.
Paul and I and Braden Boffman will be on our way to Ohio University for football camp.
Cool. The Bobcats.
The Fighting Bobcats.
Coach Fry was a graduate assistant at Ohio University.
And
early in his career.
And President John Roush at Center College played there.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And then he was a coach. He was played there, was a graduate assistant, and then he coached at Miami of Ohio for 5 years.
Okay.
Which is where we're headed next week. So this is all part of the recruiting process. So it starts now. We do these camps. It's kind of they kind of function like not combines, but like for lack of a better word. And please NCAA, I'm only using this because I don't know what other word to use, but pro day. All these kids come into a central spot, so coaches are able to check them out and everything.
So there are multiple coaches from different colleges?
Typically, there are coaches from multiple colleges.
So, Ohio University is nice enough to say, hey, look, we'll invite you all. You could take some of the players that we want, but we want these kids to have as many eyes on them as possible.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. I didn't realize that's how they worked.
Yeah. At any camp like this, there's going to be, somewhere in the neighborhood to 100, as many as 200 kids out there. They're going to weigh you, measure you, do all the things, because we all know sometimes Joe Mathis looks at the program, says, oh, this kid that plays tackle for Tate's Creek is 6'4", 295 pounds. And then he walks in the door, and I don't know if he took something to make him shrink, but magically he's 6 foot, 215.
Yeah.
So they want to make sure that the numbers are right. And that goes on at every level. I'm always amazed at the guys that, are seniors in college, get ready to go to the NBA draft, and they're 7'1", but then their rookie year in the NBA, they're 6'9".
6'9", 6'10".
Right.
What happened to the 7'1"?
Yeah. But, that's kind of what it is. But you go there, they get to lay eyes on you. It's no pads or anything. But they go through some drills. They want to see how strong you are. So it's a lot of fun. And as I said, Braden Boffman's going with us. So that a joint effort now of Danville and Bull County, and always good to see that. Braden, as you know, has been one of my favorite kids since they were little, playing rec league out at Millennium Park. So
that'll be good then tomorrow. Tomorrow? No,
we
tomorrow.
We go Saturday night,
Friday,
camps Sunday, and then we're doing a campus tour Monday. So really neat. Get the kids exposed to what college life kind of looks like in a different place. Obviously, they see Center College and Center's campus these days, which will be showcased this weekend, of course.
Yes.
Is just incredible. But, at a place like Ohio or Miami, it's just a bigger deal. Another school we're hoping to look at some point is Bucknell, which was founded in 1743.
Jeez.
And they got buildings that are close to that old.
Yeah, I've heard of Bucknell. I don't know where it is. Where's Bucknell?
Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of them.
So anyway, that's what ours looks like. But for everybody else, it's
go to the Brass Band Festival.
Yeah,
bourbon chicken or no bourbon chicken? Have you seen that? There's no bourbon chicken this year. The Brass Band Festival.
Louisiana Bayou is not
coming.
Particular one. I bet somebody has some.
Someone's gonna have some bourbon chicken there. Yeah. Hey Patrick, I wanted to ask you about this. I'd not heard this story until just now. I'm just reading this.
Did 88 trombones lead the big parade? That's going to happen too, folks.
What is it now?
Oh, come on, from the Music Man. 76 trombones. But we're going to have 88.
No, so the Supreme Court, Patrick, has issued a ruling on a lawsuit that was filed against the International Brotherhood of Teamsters by Glacier Northwest. And in this ruling, 8-1 ruling, they say that the company can sue the union in state court over losses it suffered as a result of a strike in August of 2017. Are those headphones not working for you?
No, they're not, but that's fine.
I can turn them back up for you. Okay. So during the strike, these drivers went on strike. They walked off the job back in 2017. They had wet concrete in the back of their trucks. But when they walked off the job, the wet concrete, it dries up, it gets hard. The company says that makes the drivers liable for damages. They're striking drivers. The Washington Supreme Court had ruled in favor of the union in December of 2021, saying any losses were incidental to a strike, arguably protected by federal law. But the Supreme Court has actually ruled against the striking drivers and saying the company can now sue the drivers for all the losses of the wet concrete and all the damages that come from that. What's your take on that,
Patrick?
When
did that come out?
That was just ruled. The Supreme Court just ruled it. Now, the incident happened in August of 2017.
Right. No, I'm just curious. So that is this session. So you've got the current Supreme Court. Let me tell you, the Constitution means what the current Supreme Court says it does. And you've had, unfortunately, there's supposed to be this thing called stare decisis and this thing called precedent. And it should take a lot to overcome that. But this court's gotten pretty activist recently on revisiting some things. That being said, where you got my attention on this, because I was thinking you can't do that. Strikes are protected and basically under free speech, under a contract theory, under a lot of things. And we want people to be able to, come together, because otherwise corporations would rule the world. They kind of do anyway. But the workers, whether they're unionized or not, need to be able to have some kind of voice at the table in terms of how things are going to work. That's fine. You'll notice usually when you see strikes, there's people out on the picket line outside the building with signs and everything else. They don't get violent. They don't interfere with anything. Sometimes they kind of do. You have what are called scab players,
Scabs, yes,
right?
yeah.
And so they're trying to break through the line. That gets a little dicey at times, but we don't have to go into that here, because what you got my attention on was the concrete drying. Because now they have taken an act that actually didn't just disrupt the business by lack of employees, but actually caused them to lose something else, to wit, the concrete, right? They've paid for the concrete, they paid for the materials, and I'm guessing that when concrete dries in the truck, it probably damages the truck too.
Yes, I would think so. Yeah, I mean, how do you get dried concrete out of the back of the truck?
So now you're not just making a speech issue, you're not just asserting a contractual issue. You've actually caused some damage to the property. And if you think about the way Martin Luther King or Gandhi talked about civil disobedience, the key was to not do anything that actually caused harm, and to be willing to take the consequences for, whatever you do.
Yes.
Here, I kind of got to think this U.S. Supreme Court's have it right. They're not liable for the disruption of the business for not having people to work, but I think they probably are liable for the concrete and the damage to the trucks.
Yes.
That they should have made sure those were empty before they walked off.
Caused the damage, lost money, obviously, with the concrete, but then damaged the vehicles.
Right.
We assume damaged the vehicles. The
I'm
concrete
not worried
was
about
in.
what it does to their ability to do business. 'Cause
Yes.
that's protected.
Yeah.
But damage to property is a different thing, and I think it gets a totally different analysis as property damage versus a speech or a contractual issue.
With Patrick McClure from McClure Bailey.
That's my opinion, by the way. I've never dealt with that kind of thing, especially under the federal statutes.
So you would be, if you were Supreme Court Justice Patrick McClure, you would vote in favor. You'd be one of the 8 votes in favor, 8-1 voting in favor
On
of
the
it.
property issue, yes. It would be a very, very narrowly tailored opinion, because I do not want to restrict people's ability to strike to get a better deal for, if we didn't have the ability to do that, we wouldn't have child labor laws.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have, some of the medical benefits there are now. You wouldn't have wage and hour laws. I mean, you'd have people working 75 hours a week for $4 an hour at 14 years old. We can't have that. But we also can't have people going out and destroying property. And effectively, that's what they're saying happened here, is that they destroyed property.
Patrick McClure and Bailey. Future Supreme Court Justice Patrick McClure.
Oh, let's all hope.
236-8888. We'll step aside. We'll come back and finish up the conversation on a McClure and Bailey Friday. Coming up next.
Father's Day is right around the corner. Get Dad what he really wants. Omaha Steaks. Perfectly aged, always tender, and guaranteed delicious. The Father's Day experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to put a smile on the big guy's face this summer with hand-selected packages. Head over to omahasteaks.com. Use promo code SIZZLE at checkout and get $30 off your qualifying order. You can choose from a variety of mouth-watering packages that include fork-tender, bacon-wrapped filet mignons or other gourmet grillables like the air-chilled boneless chicken breasts, burgers, jumbo franks, and many more favorites. Don't forget to save room for dessert. Most gift packages come with 4 delicious caramel apple tartlets. Go to omahasteaks.com. Use code SIZZLE at checkout and get $30 off an unforgettable gift that is guaranteed to make Dad's day. Because if there's one thing we know, it's that dads want steak. That's omahasteaks.com. Promo code SIZZLE at checkout. Minimum order is required. See site for details.
DNC Small Engine Repair. We repair all types, brands of mowers, weed eaters, chainsaws, blowers, pressure washers, virtually anything with a 2 or 4 cycle engine at DNC Small Engine. We pride ourselves in getting your equipment fixed right the first time and back to you within days, not weeks or months. We even offer pickup and delivery. All work's guaranteed. You have my word on that because I'm the owner, Doug Coulter. Come see us at DNC Small Engine Repair on 1125 Stanford Avenue. Call us at 859-209-2615. 209-2615. Service is always in season.
Is your heat or air conditioning acting up? Did you know new HVAC for your home no longer has to cost an arm and a leg? The HVAC outlet based here in Danville offers 2- and 3-ton heat pump complete change-outs for $39.95 or as low as $100 a month. The HVAC outlet offers a 10-year manufacturer's warranty on all parts. Call them today, 859-209-1112 or swing by 308 Fackler Street in Danville. It's 859-209-1112. The HVAC outlet in Danville, servicing all of Central Kentucky.
I want to ride Hatfield Chevrolet, and they had me
driving in my car, going very far, down the street in my car.
If you want to ride, go to RideHatfieldChevy.com. Rod Hatfield Chevrolet, Lexington, Kentucky.
Listen to us on your smart speaker. Just ask to play our call letters. WHIR.
It's 9:56 in the morning. We are with Patrick McClure from McClure and Bailey. 236-8888 is the phone number to call in. 236-8888. There was one more story I wanted to read you, Patrick, here. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. So it is against the law in Missouri to wrestle a bear. However, police are having to remind people that it's against the law. A police department in Missouri, Patrick, notified citizens on social media there have been bear sightings in the area, and they warned people not to feed or interact with bears, and definitely don't wrestle the bear. They then reminded people that bear wrestling is illegal in Missouri and shared the language from the actual statute, which also bans promoting or allowing bear wrestling on your property, owning a bear that'll be used for bear wrestling, training a bear to wrestle, and surgically altering a bear for wrestling purposes. All those things are considered Class A misdemeanors in Missouri, Patrick. Bear wrestling.
So, Paul is a bear, and so that might be a little bit
his
different.
nickname is Bear, right?
Paul Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's Paul Bear. It's not just Bear. That would be Andrew Hopewell. Paul's is Paul Bear.
Paul Bear, yeah.
Like Paul Bear Bryant.
Yes.
But that's not where it comes from. But the Titanic stupidity of all this, it amazes me. Folks, just like safety, public disclaimer message here, you cannot wrestle a bear.
Please
and I don't
stop it.
mean because it's illegal. I mean because you will lose. All right? A bear is a very large wild animal. I feel like I should not have to say this, but the way things are these days, we got people. We won't even get into all the TikTok challenges and everything else. It's just a mistake.
Yeah, don't do it.
Right. I'm assuming it's illegal and they charge you with, I told you before, occasionally I have a case that involves molesting a turkey. Just you say when you try to poach it, but you don't succeed, but you've still interfered with it in its natural state.
Yes.
The difference here is the turkey probably isn't going to fight back, or at least not very well.
The turkey's not going to, not very well. The bear, however, on the other hand.
I'm assuming they're thinking about, quote, little black bears. Little black bears are still pretty big deal. If you've ever seen the bigger ones out west, we're talking about an animal that stands 9 feet tall, has a paw the size of a basketball